We're a year removed now from Cars on the Road, a couple weeks past that actually, and I'm still not sure I've been able to wrap my head around these dinosaurs, these dino cars. I mean, they're awesome, they look so cool, they're wild, but just thinking about our perspective of the Cars world just a couple years ago, we could have never imagined this would have happened. Literally dinosaurs in the Cars universe. People thought that Cars 2 was far-fetched and crazy, unrealistic with all the espionage and action and whatnot, but the doors have been officially completely blown off. A lot of episodes featured fantastical, mythical elements to it, and I feel like this one is a little bit more actually on the believable side, just because if you look at the Cars world, obviously everything parallels something in real life, and dinosaurs did exist in real life, so it, kind of makes sense that we would eventually learn of what came before the, modern day car, right? Like, it kind of does make sense, but, the ghosts and the road rumblers and the trucks, all that stuff just took it way too far. But I am pretty excited, though, to be here reviewing the Quadratorquosaur dinosaur with you guys here today. Very excited, actually. This is one of the rare releases probably of the entire year, and we'll talk about why. If you can get your hands on it, definitely take advantage, because he's awesome, he or she is awesome. And also, yeah, I want to be on the committee for making these names. I mean, just imagine, like, you go into work one day and, like, your boss is like, all right, guys, we need to come up with names, and he just puts pictures of these dinosaurs on the screen. And at the end of the day, let's say it takes, like, 2 weeks to name them all. Like, every day they just decide on one. Quadratorquosaur, Mechaterminatops, Westphalanthropus, like, I don't know, it's crazy to me. That sounds like a fun job. But yeah, this guy came out of 2023 singles Case K. He was supposed to be in Case H, but they pushed him back. Thankfully, though, they did not cancel him. But yeah, he has been on the card backs for a while. This is a Road Rumbler Mater that he was on the back of here, chilling with some Case H releases, couple Case J releases. So it's good that they finally were able to, squeak him out. Here's a Mato. And yeah, he's on there. This is all Case H stuff, actually. Like, literally everything here is Case H. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, they were like, nah, you're better fit in Case K. So I'm just glad they got released, period. However, the case has only been found in full in the UK, which means in the US, you find this case at Walmart, he's missing, because the Walmart only gets in half cases. They get in reduced 12 count versions of the case, which is half 24, and sometimes they're missing some of the new components to that case. And so in this situation, it's pretty scant. They're missing the Quadratorquosaur, the Thailand variants of Tubbs Pacer, Vladimir Trunkov, and then also Dexter Hoover with the green flag. It does, though, have Mallory Karhut and Mato, who are his case mates, but because like Target or other stores haven't gotten the case in, we're very limited here in the US. So, kudos to you guys over in the UK finding this case in full and being able to get this, because I actually was worried. I was so worried that this guy was going to be like impossible to find, so I snagged one off eBay from the UK, and here is that one. You could tell it's on international packaging because it doesn't have the new for 2023 logo up there. And on the back, it just shows an image of the quad and not everything else. And so, yeah, actually, you can see there's 3 languages on the English packaging and only 2 on the international, which I'm not really sure how that makes sense, but there are more on the back. Anyways, first off, we're going to start with a complaint, and probably will be the only one of the day, but this artwork here is for the baby Quadratorquosaur, who they did as a color changer, and so they used the art on that. Makes sense, correct. This is a baby. You can see that the horn is smaller than the full-on. The tires are much bigger for some reason. It's like your tires are bigger when you're a baby, and then they get much smaller. But yeah, shorter, stubbier tail, along with a few other changes as well. So I don't know why they didn't just use this artwork that I'll try and find upon the screen, because yeah, it exists. Like, they have artwork for a full adult Quadratorquosaur, just did not use it for whatever reason. Like, you can also tell that this guy's like way more fresh looking, like way yellower, way brighter. Whereas the Papa Quad, much more weathered and, you know, worn down, a darker version for sure. But he looks awesome, looks super ticked off. Cannot wait to open him up. Feels happy. Like this is definitely worth your money, and probably would have been a deluxe had that line still been around. Like same thing with the Western Lapis here. There are larger cars that, because they don't have the deluxe line anymore, they do, you know, put them in the singles. So on the back here, you have Cryptid Buster McQueen, Mato, Cryptid Buster Mater, Nile Speedcone, Griswold, and Jeremy. All of these, like I just pointed out, are Case H releases. Like, let's see here. Yeah, so these three debuted in Case H, and that was supposed to happen. That was all planned. That was their first case appearance. Nile was also supposed to be in this case, but got replaced by two Paul Conrevs and then put in Case J. So he ended up being in a couple cases later. Cryptid Buster Mater up here also was in Case J, but he still was in Case H. However, I will say these two are not in the Walmart version of Case H. I actually just found Case H like 2 hours ago. I found Cryptid Buster McQueen and Mato, but these two are not. Now, Griswold, I think, is maybe in the full Case H or something, but, you know, she's always just chilling on these card backs, no matter if she's actually in the case or not. Like, don't even pay attention to her. But yeah, guys, I'll be right back with the quad all opened up. I did get this out of the full case, by the way, that I unboxed. I'll leave that link in the description below, and I'm sure the card suggestion already popped up for it. So I think the biggest question that we need to answer, it's my job to help you guys decide which is superior, the Quadratorquosaur or the Western Lapis. Both have gnarly looking horns, scales, tails. They're worn down, rugged. They've probably been in fights before. And if you guys remember in my Western Lapis video, which I'll leave the link to in the description below and card suggestion pop up in the top right hand corner, I proclaim it to be one of the best releases over the last like 5 years. I said that's probably like a top 10 release over the last 5 years, and I hold by that. I really do believe that the Western Lapis is top tier Mattel work. It's better than almost everything you could buy out there that Mattel offers. I mean, you compare it to all these other cars, and they're nice, like Cryptid Buster, McQueen, Mater. Yeah, they're fine. Cryptid Buster, well, the Road Rumblers, they're cool. Mato, Randy, Squat, they're all nice. They're solid, but the Western Lapis usurps them all. I think it's the best release of the year so far, even better than Adam Rodriguez. Let me think about some other good ones that came out this year. I mean, Doug Crankle would be pretty good if he was the correct color, but they squandered that. Now, I mean, Mato is nice, Squat's fine, but definitely better than Nile Speedcone, Breaker Boggs, and some of those other ones. But the Quadratorquosaur, on the other hand, might have enough to beat him. We'll see about that, but first, let's just focus on Mr. Quad here, Papa or Mom Quad. There is a whole herd of them in the show. You know, there's actually a couple times where it appears because you got the like statues, the dioramas in the, you know, Dino Park, and then you also have like the flashback when they're actually roaming the wastelands or whatever you want to call it, the terrain. So yeah, lots of quad action out there. They did do a mini racer of the full adult quad as well, which we'll kind of show here in a bit. But let's just focus on this guy, give him his due diligence. But yeah, he's got a nice, very just, you know, bland, sleepy expression. Very similar to like a tractor. I mean, this is kind of, I don't know if it's a knock on animals, just in the sense that they're emotionless. They only look one way. But, I mean, it does make sense. It's not like an animal is going to make a crazy look on their face or whatnot. So, I like that. The mouth is just barely open. He's grazing. This is a plastic horn, but it does bend a little bit. And yeah, super rusty and weathered looking. Same thing with his whole finish here, like along the edges here. He just looks great. Almost maybe went too far here. Like this looks moldy, how white it is, and then just bam, it's like, you know, pretty standard, pretty solid up top there. But I guess that makes sense because all the water would be splashing up here or whatnot, causing the oxidation, causing the paint to, you know, disintegrate and yeah, chip away, I guess you could say. The parts that are die cast are the cab here and the back portion. The tail is plastic. All the scales are like a rubbery almost plastic, which is very surprising. I thought they'd be a hard plastic, kind of like the panels here on the West Flampus. Like these are a hard plastic, but they are more kind of in lines with like these parts. But they almost feel even more like bendy and rubbery than those, which is kind of cool though. Like it's always good to have different types of textures on the cars. And also, if you were to step on him, it wouldn't absolutely destroy your foot. There was a car, oh yeah, Squat. Oh yeah, that's right. If you were to step on Squat, but that was another thing. I didn't think that his spikes were going to be this kind of rubbery as well. But thankfully, these are rubber as well. So Mattel is thinking ahead. They know they don't want to, you know, screw up anyone's foot. Any parent's foot. You got like a little Squat on the ground post play. And then, bam, dad just goes down on the floor, step on his kid's Squat or Quadratorquosaur. But yeah, anyway, getting back on track, I like the tires here on the sides. They look very rocky, very calcium-based. And on the bottom, they are just plain white. S20A is his date stamp, means he was made during the 20th week of 2023 at the A factory. I don't see that it says made in Thailand. Oh, it does say barely Thailand right there. So yeah, not a whole lot of surface area on the base here. It's kind of like two-pronged because you have like this gray component and then you have like the main chassis. But yeah, it looks really good. This front bumper is plastic as well, but still very nicely detailed in the vein of the horn here. I like kind of the thicker forehead and how it drapes over his eyes. And then yeah, this is a nice chunk of metal back here in the main body. I love it. Love it so much. Just take a look at that detailing. I mean, again, you got like the rusty fender here. Everything's different too. It's like each side's a little bit different. Really cool to just look at and appreciate the detail. I like this. They have like a little bolt section, this trim around where the tail comes out. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I like how the tail is kind of like layered. Gets thinner and thinner. Same thing with the main body here, like everything just kind of sheds down. Looks very worm-like or whatnot, even though he's certainly nothing like a worm, but you guys know what I'm saying. Yeah, I love just the consistency on these scales. Oh man, I don't know guys, is this guy better than the West Flampus? What I kind of like about him is that he's very truck-like, you know, there's like a huge gap right here. I mean, you got 6 tires, and it just feels like he's got a little bit more going on. Like, it just seems like he's, like this is, you know, a 4-wheeler. Very typical, but when you have a 6-wheeler, that does not come around often. Like, when's the last time we've gotten a diecast in the 155 scale line with 6 tires? Like, 3 sets of 2, not just Mater having the double tire. That does not count. So, I feel like that makes him stand out a little bit more. Oh man, I can't find anything wrong with his diecast at all. Let's compare him to the Mini here. So he's a little bit of a darker color, similar expression. Mouth doesn't show as much teeth. The horn is not detailed at all on the Mini, but the rest of the body is. And yeah, the scales and the tail aren't, but it's fair. Even the tires got a little bit of detailing. The Quad's probably one of your easiest Dino mini racers to obtain, as he was released in the singles, the Dino A Cruisers, and a 3-pack. He looks pretty good, I will admit. He looks pretty solid. Alright, so then you have the color changer version of the baby here. So remember, these are technically different. Even though the baby is like just as big as the full-on version. But I don't know, we'll have to rationalize that later. It is just a color changer after all. But yeah, he does have a much shorter, stubbier horn. And the artworks do depict like the tires on the adult being smaller than the baby, which are much, much larger. I feel like they shouldn't be that large, but maybe it's just kind of one of those weird things that, like, I mean, there's a lot of things IRL in real life that change as you grow up. Like, there are things, I don't know, there's things that you wouldn't expect, because not everything is just like a upward trend, like you grow and grow and grow. Like, what's one thing? All right, you know, a lot of babies are born with blue eyes, and then their eyes change. Like immediately you have blue eyes, and then like over the next, I don't know, couple months or so, your eyes change to the color they're going to be permanently. Like my eyes were blue for, I think like, they were blue for a good long while before they turned poop brown, which they have been for the last 23 years almost. What are a couple other examples of stuff like that? I don't know. It's going to be hard to come up with something off the top of my head. But, oh yeah, someone's hair color could change. I mean, that's not something that, you know, it's like not really a part of growth, you know, like getting bigger. So you guys know what I'm trying to say. Trying to rationalize it for us, because I know a lot of you guys will be like, what, why is the baby quad's tires bigger than the 155 scale, the adult one? It just doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, trying to rationalize it. This one just looks like a kid too through the expression. It would be nice to get a die cast of the baby. Maybe they'll do a better job. Have a little family, because then we also, I mean, you could have like a big family. This is like a infant, or even more young than a baby, even younger than a baby Quadratorquosaur. So yeah, good stuff here. This is like fresh out of the egg. All right, now let's make the call here. Westphalanthus or Quadratorquosaur. What the hell, guys? Who gave me this call to make? This is tough. I mean, look at them. So the quad's got a much bigger horn. That's dangerous for sure. Westphalanthus. I feel like the Westphalanthus doesn't have as much dexterity because he's only a four-wheeler. I feel like the quad could kind of like bend around you a little bit more because this is such a separate part from the back. Well, the Westphalanthus does have a ton of exhaust pipes, and he's got the double tail. He's got all these roof panels here, which do kind of look cumbersome. Man, I don't know, guys. I don't know which is the better one. I'm kind of leaning toward Westphalanthus, to be honest with you guys, just because it's based on the VW bus, the shoulder, the panels on the roof are really cool. I like the exhaust pipes. The double tail is nice. But, man, I feel like I'm only saying that because we've already gotten a lot of exposure to the Quadratorquosaur. I know both of which have minis, but to be fair, the Quad Mini came out far before the Westphalanthus Mini. We also have the color changer, so it's like we're very familiar with what the Quad is, whereas, you know, the Westphalanthus is still kind of new to us all, you know, so maybe that's playing into it a little bit. Let me revisit this in a couple months, but right now you guys need to let me know who is your favorite between these two juggernaut dinosaurs, the Westphalanthus or the Quadratorquosaur. That is a screenshot worthy moment right there. You can't really go wrong with either of them. And yeah, I'm sorry, Pitstoposaurus. I know I'm excluding you, but sorry, buddy. I mean, you're cool too. I love your saber-tooth, you know, forklift prongs there, but you just don't have it in you. And yeah, then you got Cave McQueen over here. It looks pretty awesome as well. He fits the vibe. This is a Tomica Cave Mater. We just need the Mattel version, hopefully this year. And then we'll be good to go, and we could, you know, start getting some more dinosaurs. Maybe the Mechaturbinatops. Maybe, who else could they do reasonably? Oh, they could definitely do an Ankylosaurus. Like some of these I know are gonna be hard to do, even as like, you know, a bigger, almost deluxe single. Like even like these two could have easily been deluxes a couple years ago. But the Ankylosaurus easily could be done. The Mechaturbinatops pushes it a little bit. And obviously the Spinal Crankshaft Rex and Tyrannosaurus Rex are far out of that league. But thank you guys as always for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys soon for another one. Bye now.